We share something. Welcome to TableBreakers, episode 19.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. A dirt cheap?
Okay, so fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
But it's goals.
My name is Bruce Lombardo. I am the a bit addled game master, and I've got my friends with me tonight: Baron G Rock, an actual real life Baron, Kai, Jaide, and the Cigar DM. Episode 19 of Table Breakers is going to discuss guilds, inter-party politics, and how to pull the party apart for its benefits and its detriments. Because I feel that's important in a campaign. You do want to have the party at some point. Not everybody's unified on this issue. And I think that's kind of something that you need to have. There are other games out there other than the standard 800-pound gorilla or elephant in the room, D&D, that people do play that specialize with intra-party politics. And I recommend those be played from time to time. My favorite being Paranoia. And Paranoia is a game that I think everybody should at least play once, preferably at a con. If not, play it with friends and lots of alcohol. Baron G Rock, what do you think about using guilds in a campaign as a DM? Excellent answer. Kai, you look like you're about ready to say something. So I'm going to cue you. How would you use guilds in your game?
Well, first off, Garrett already went and decided to hit probably one of the best guild cities ever, because really honestly, it just, if you ever get a chance, just read the setting, read the world, ignore the rest of it, just enjoy unbridled creativity. It's great. But as for how I view, how honestly at this point, guild should be that thing that you use as both being foils and resources available for players to enjoy. I mean, no one's going to enter into a guild and you're going to be like, well, I'm a 12th level character, therefore I think I should be nobody, you're at the bottom. What do you mean? You haven't put your time in, man. but I'm a master craftsman, and well, I'm going to use my skills to overwhelm. No, you're going to offend, because the moment you've put a guild in, sure, you get access to a network of people who are going to help you, but you got to put your time in. You got to you've now welcomed yourself into internal politics that you've chosen to be part of. Or you can have that player who goes, I'm going alone. And I've used this one before, and that's literally going, I tell you, the guild goes up, the guild shows up, yes, congratulations, you're gonna go alone. Now, if you break these price guarantees, what do you mean the price guarantees? I can make it at 1/3 the price. No, sir. Yes, you could, but the player's handbook prices here are the guild prices. But the black market prices are on this page on these modifiers. So you're saying if you undercut us, we cut your throat. Oh, well, I can fight your one man, and the guild is far bigger than you. And when you start bringing in that almost this ominous feeling of the Spacers Guild from Dune coming in there and going, whatever power you think you have nothing. Well, I'm a hero. Yes, you are. But you're only one man. I have a party. Do you? One moment. How loyal is your party? Very loyal. Here's 10,000 gold. Kill him. And most parties will gut that player, and it's always fun to watch. The moment you start throwing power, cash, resources, influence, you watch parties shred themselves. Whatever sense of loyalty you thought they had will evaporate, and it's so much fun to watch. And it's just like, it's at one point where like, you saved the world. No, you didn't. The rules actually was kind of horrible, and this is how you show it. Anyway, that's a good opener.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yup.
All right.
And you're right, 10K might not be good for some groups, but some players will, depending on what level you're at. A low-level party, yeah, 10K won't be enough. But look at, like I said, throw the number that you need your party to start to think. If you get that one player who goes, man, if I only had 20,000 more gold, I'd be able to buy that cool item I want, or I'd be able to buy that castle I need. Well, guess what? You just told me how much money I need to bribe you. And the GM, as a GM, you should always write down how much money, how thirsty are my players for cash, for power. And because everyone's got a price, she's got to find it.
Sorry, I was about ready to quote a million dollar man from WWF back in the day. Everybody's got a price. Son. What's yours?
In short, yes, always ask that, but in other ways.
Hey, Legion of Myth. Shadow and Sun.
Howdy, Max. Now, okay.
Go ahead, Cigar DM. You're running your game, and it's not Rise of the Rune Lords, but it's your table. How would you use your guilds in your campaign role?
Only been in a handful of campaigns that provide the guild atmosphere. Yours being one of it, and I think there's a Pathfinder module that has guilds that you use. I don't remember what module it was, but I know there was guilds related, and But I like the concept of guilds. I like that, like if the cleric needs to get more things for his clerkly duties, he has to go back to his church. The rogue has to go to the black market. The fighter has to go check in with the union. I mean, I live in Illinois. We're nothing but unions here. So I get the concept of the guilds. I've yet to use them myself, but in the few campaigns I have been in where guilds have been a thing, it's a solid play. I quite enjoy them. And I think the benefits of doing the guilds in your campaign weighs the paperwork that the DM has to deal later on, at least for the player's sake.
Interesting. Now, I've always found the guilds to be one of those things that when I put them in the game, around mid-level is where if they're in if they're in a urban campaign, I find myself putting down a lot of notes, a lot more notes. Jaide,
Yes. Hi.
hey buddy, how would you utilize if you had your atypical 5-person gaming group, because you usually run between 4 and 5 people? How would you bring the guilds in? What would you purpose them for?
Well, see, I took a lot of inspiration from things I've read. One of the authors I read a lot of is Jim Butcher, and he uses probably the most effective mafia type guild I've seen in literature, and that is John Marcone and his Criminal Empire. And in a way, criminal empires are guilds, mafias are guilds, and they should be treated and used like local lords, just over smaller domains or over specific areas of purview. So, if I'm going to use a guild, I'm going to use it one of two ways, mostly. I'm either going to use it to help the party, to give the party, jobs, things to do, places to go, people to kill or see, messages to be delivered, such as like that. Or I'm going to use it as an adversary. Like the guild itself is the adversary, not necessarily just one person or the person running the guild, the entirety of the guild. And within that guild, you're going to have people who have certain assets or certain abilities or powers that are going to kind of brick wall the party occasionally. They're not going to know how to deal with this one individual because this one individual might be part of a bigger group. Their powers are unique, and they haven't done enough research on that individual to know how to stop them. So to me, guilds are adversaries for a lot of things, but they can also be very good boons for the players.
How would you use them as a boon?
As a boon, so if the party was to say join up with, I'm going to use Pathfinder, the Pathfinder Society, Pathfinder Adventuring Guild, they're going to have access to magical items or research tomes that would not normally be accessible outside the guild. So to that end, if they need to go look, this artifact that, there you go. That's the scar tonight. If they need to look up a artifact that suddenly appeared, are they going to travel all the way to Absalom? Probably. But if they're part of the Adventuring Guild, wouldn't they have access to researchers who have studied in Absalom? Wouldn't they have people at their fingertips to say, hey, we found this thing, we don't know what it does, we don't really want to play with it, can you tell us more? So in that instance, the guild can be used to offer information, offer aid of some kind, be it magical resource or knowledge. But they can also give them the job. Like the Adventure Guild says, hey, we'll find out what this does and we'll get back to you. But in the meantime, there's the report of a dragon in the mountains that we need to go have somebody take care of. It's just absolutely wiping out the livestock in the region. Can you take care of this while we research your thing? So it's in a way gives them the next plot hook, gives them the next thing to go do, while also offering resources and means that they would not normally have access to. Keep in mind, libraries during medieval ages, dark ages, you had to pay a fee to get in. They weren't just free to go to. That was assuming you could even read during that time. So having access to guild resources, whatever they might be, would be a significant boon, especially if some of the people are artisans, like master crafting blacksmiths or master servants who can take care of your horses when you're in town, or run a manor while you're gone. These are all things that a guild can help a party with.
Anybody want to follow up on that and add to that or no?
Add to what's on the screen or what Jade just said.
What he just said.
What Jade just said. I'm sorry, I was reading the screen. I'm like, my brain started. What? Sorry. No. I'm also a big fan of using. I like the concept that, like I said, using guilds. Going back to the Dresden Files, hell, you can almost consider the White Council a guild of wizards. That if you're a low-level wizard, these are the people you have to deal with. To get maybe new spells, or maybe you broke some of their random laws that the DM has decided to put into the game. That thou shall not fuck with somebody else's brain by using magic that your DM has inserted in your game. So having groups that are outside the party but still still interact with the party is always, I think, a good story building tool.
But you need to have more than just, because, like, I'm sorry, if you start looking at it that way, sure, the local chantry is a guild of wizards. The councils are guilds of casters. You have the church; it's just a guild of priests. You can have the crafters guilds, the merchants guilds, the traders guilds, the seafaring guilds. You should have enough of them that way there's not just this one it can look like a monolith to the outsider, to that person who looks at the grand machine and goes, I can't oppose that. That's impossibly large. Not realizing that it's actually like 6 or 7 organizations inside that all hate each other. You stare at any large grouping, and at the heart of it, you're just going to go, how do you oppose this? They have wealth beyond my wildest dreams. There are some kings that look at and go, some idiot king goes, well, what do I need to worry about? That's just a guild. And then you realize that guild has more money than the kingdom does. They have the ability to hire. That wizard guild has more power than the local emperors got. And I can call upon that guild. The guild comes to you because it's in their interest to listen to you. And as heroes, you're in the periphery, and every once in a while you'll come into their area of expertise. And then if you graze their area and you harm them, suddenly you went from that thing that's out there in the wilderness that fights bad guys to, well, you just burnt down a chantry house. I can't stand for that. And then suddenly you might find yourself suddenly going up against a guild leader who's actually a spellcaster, but his entire spellcasting gimmick is he just manipulates fate, probability, chance has always been on his side. Why? He just knows how to manipulate luck better than you. His spells all work towards that, but he plays it off as that. And suddenly now you've made an enemy from, well, shit, somebody who's actually out there. And now suddenly you're like, well, I have a Dark Lord and somebody who's actually, scarier than me. Scary, because I can raise an undead army scary, and I can no longer spend my money is now worthless at every booth I go to. I can't trade these gems in for cash. And they've got friends in the church who now go, no, we're not working with you anymore. I go to the Wizard Academy. No, you can't go to them either. Why? Because you pissed one guy off, and that guy had more power than a simple noble or a simple wizard in a tower. They all have friends. Everybody talks, and now because you were a jerk, you were a big throbbing dick, you're that player who's like, I need to just insult people, and now you're getting fucked by the machine. You don't need to have sex because the universe is fucking you. Congratulations.
I just want to point out. I just want to point out. He said, "Come fucking, strubbing dick, and something else all in one
breath.
one rep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very, very aroused at this point. I'm just saying.
This might come up later, Kai, but for those smart-ass players who decided to smart off to the local lord or king,
Yeah.
oh man, that's
thing-
consequences coming down.
The thing here is that there's always this. You smart off to a king, and it's like, well, my knights are gonna come after you, and you guys like, okay, cool, nobility, yeah, that's cool, and then you're like, okay, that's fucking nice, and then you piss off all the church, that's okay, but when you piss off the people who make your magic items, make you your potions, the apothecaries, the people who are watching your merchants, watching your carts as you go traveling to the countryside, who ensure that you have good food. All the people who you think are like, and then you go take a nice nap one night, and then you just don't wake up. Why? Because that servant you hired just poisoned you, or he slit your throat, or he made you enjoy getting really intimate with a pillow. And suddenly it's just like, sorry, you just died. But I pissed off a merchant. You died.
You pissed off the wrong merchant.
You pissed off the wrong merchant. But yeah, that guy who didn't want to give you that half price discount, whose shop you robbed, he had friends. And it took you about 4 adventures, but that failed perception check, yeah, you're dead now. Here's a new character sheet. Start building.
I want to get back to the pillow comment.
No.
Is it over the
No.
face, or is it more of the going somewhere else?
Just no.
Just let it happen, guys. Just let it happen.
Go to sleep. Don't fight it. Just die. Just die.
Yes.
Hey,
Now
Joe,
I am like totally aroused now. Thank you.
I'm moderately erect. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
And
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, this is why I drink.
Welcome to the chat, all of you guys that have filtered in a few minutes, and I'd like to introduce the topic of the night, which would be guilds, organizations, and intra-party politics. And soy-based Jeremy, Tim Christ, Chadzar, welcome everybody. And yeah, the thing is that you really hit it on the head there, Kai. The thing is that these organizations, you don't have a real guild for clerics. It's a temple. It's a place where they can go and grab an altar boy or whatever. And what I say,
Oy vey.
maybe a temple prostitute, whatever, and that's the thing. You have to have certain things that are going to draw players into wanting to have a membership with this guild. If the guild is just like the Wheelwrights Guild and they're travelers all across the land, yes, the party is caravan guards and they are just one of thousands. But the guild they are with holds a lot of power because they're the ones that usually deliver the news. Keep in mind, it's not a metropolitan life that the fantasy games give, where they can tune into their crystal balls and they can figure out what's going on the other side of the planet. Oh no, Waterdeep is getting hit by a tidal wave. Tolis has got a evil book causing thunderstorms and earthquakes. They don't do that. You have a stranger come in town, and typically that stranger has got news that nobody else knows about. So that's atypically, like, the guild might be a way for the parties to introduce things into where they're going, which is what I always try to focus on.
Yeah, you always want to try to insert the party into the guild life. Just the tip, just the tip, of the iceberg there to quench their thirst.
Now, there's other ways to use organizations, but having the party be their muscle or be their operating arm is always a preferable way for me. I want to see the party be able to navigate and to be able to properly talk to the people they're supposed to, and to mitigate threats per se. And I know that sounds like, oh God, you're a random monster DM. Yes, I am. I love random encounters. But I really think that the art of that has been lost throughout the editions. And that's something that you guys do have the power to bring back at your own table. If you want to run a game like Matt Mercer, you can, but I think you'll have more fun if you run it like yourself. I'm just throwing ideas out to you because I've read quite a bit, and I prefer using the organizations to my benefit as a DM. I think that's probably one place where a lot of modern games fall apart because they don't think of things like that. When was the last time you guys played in a game and you had temple prostitutes at a church?
Wait, no, I haven't played. Yeah, I did. Sorry, damn it.
Played
Well,
or GM'd?
Hey,
GM,
hey, one's against me.
I haven't
Say
had a
again?
chance to play a good game in about 20 years. So yes, 20 years ago, yes, but not
I'm
now.
not saying let's be perverts. No, it's not what I'm saying. But you want to
Perverts.
have a reason for the party member, the hero, the guy that's sitting at your table. You want to have him be motivated to be part of whatever organization it is. So for the cleric, yeah, all the party might see is him reading his holy text in the morning or whenever they refresh his spells, and then curing the party members from the nasty wound he gets from a goblin. But they don't really get too deep on him whenever go back to town, and he's like, "You guys stay at the inn. I got to go to the church," and he goes off into the temple, and whatever that they would do in order to keep him as a happy cleric to go back out and do this again, they're going to pull those strings. And so the Thieves Guild will do the same thing, not in the same way, but they're going to make sure that they find out how they can make you happy. And then they'll use that as a pry bar, and you should use that as a pry bar to get that player motivated to help out this fictitious guild that exists in your game world. I really think that that's something that you don't see a lot of. Too many games nowadays, they have the inn where you receive your mission. You have the way to the mission where you have 3 or 4 random encounters, nothing really special. A few areas might be detailed with potential loot, probably not. You get to the location, it's a dungeon. It's a dungeon that's built in straight line. It's not a Gary Gygax dungeon with 5 or 6 different branching paths and multiple amounts of empty chambers where the water's dripping or nothing's going on. No, every room has an encounter in it nowadays. Every single one of them. I was reading through Paizo, the Iron Fang invasion, and for crying out loud, even their towers, every stinking location in that game, it must have an encounter. You must
It's a
defeat.
slog.
Say again.
It's a slog. It really
is.
is.
So
And it's not value added a lot of the time.
no,
No,
in
it's
the least
not.
bit. So
But
if you can provide a reason to keep your players involved with your game outside of the dungeon, if they can find just as much fun outside of the dungeon as in it, and really, I'm not trying to mitigate the thrill of the dungeon because this is Dungeons and Dragons that I'm talking about. And so half the game is you exploring and in combat, and that part should be fun. It might be boring to watch, but to partake in is a different story.
Last time I used temple prostitutes was probably for Wrath of the Righteous. Really wasn't temple prostitutes though. They were they were at, was it the city of Is? This is a final module, and the party had to go to a basically a brothel to get information. That was the last time I used temple prostitutes in a game.
Yeah, I was about to say it was that campaign was the last time I've seen
Yeah.
played. What the concept was, as a a guild kind of situation. I'm really trying to stay in the guild aspect, but bring in the brothel scenario. Is if you're a guild, if you're in a guild that has rogues per se, and you play the guild just happens to be on the back. That sounded weird. Attached to the brothel somehow. You could have the prostitute. You could have the guy running it be Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, who's gathering information to feed the guild of heists or different things to do.
I'm gonna quickly address chat there, Mr. Ryan Burton. No, it was not the Midnight Isles. It was actually the final. So there were temple prostitutes in Midnight Isles as well, but the city of Iz had a brothel that you have to go to collect information. And so you guys, so here the party I had in there, they. Yeah, you couldn't really avoid it, and a lot of it took time. It was basically a big stalling tactic for the enemy at the time to put the moves on the players, even though the players were basically seeing copies of themselves in these lewd acts because they were polymorphed beings. It was supposed to be a very off-putting social encounter, and it ended up turning into a super gore fest.
Well, it kind of happens when one of the players is an angel-based paladin, doesn't put up with much shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and one hit slaughters and all sorts of shenanigans.
Your mythic.
Yeah, that was the mythic game. They were mythic tier 9 at that point, maybe tier 10. They were also pretty close. Yeah, it was either 9 or 10, and it was really close to level 20 at that point.
Yeah, it was.
You said evil. Evil words, mythic game.
I was in a.
Okay. This is going to be off topic. Mythic can be actually a really fun system and method of play if, and I do if, the things that the players are fighting or the path that the heroes are on is not pre-written, predetermined with certain power levels in play. Because no matter how well Paizo writes or doesn't write, depending on your purview, they cannot plan for what players of a party size of 4 to 6 are going to do at that power curve. The player power curve for Mythic is a steady and very steep incline on a very shallow time period, whereas the power curve for most of the monsters or enemies written into the module are on a very gentle upward sloping power curve, and the enemies top out at tier 10 or Mythic rank 10 at the very last 10 pages of module 6.
Yeah,
whereas the players hit tier 10 at the beginning of module 6. So there is no challenge at all throughout all of Wrath of the Righteous as far as the tabletop actual physical in-person game goes. I haven't played the video game yet. I'm not even bother talking about that one yet. Not until I played it. So
everybody I know that likes computer RPGs, they were fans of Wizards for the longest time. And then Paizo puts out Kingmaker, and Wizard's cool, but a sorcerer in that game is cooler. And they get upset because the sorcerer and the spontaneous casters in Wrath of the Righteous are just amazing compared to your practiced spellcasters like Cleric or Wizard.
I think, once again, this is so much off topic, but I think maybe PCs, because I haven't seen a console D&D game. I'm not saying they don't exist. I just haven't seen one. they're more balanced than sitting at a table with random people doing random ass shit, where the video game or a council game is a little bit more railroad.
Yeah.
The thing is with like the Pathfinder ones, it actually winds up being, with the video game side, it does wind up kind of being like choose your own adventure, because some of the stuff that you do in there changes how interactions go. So I mean, it's to me, it is more like true to the actual like doing tabletop RPG, just for that aspect. Because if you go around killing everything, that's going to change the way the game's going to play.
Yeah.
As it
Yeah.
should.
I don't know.
So sorry, I go for it.
I guess for me, I can't get that far behind the computer RPG asset for like Kingmaker or any of those other games, unless you can actually get like 4 other people to sit there to get that real tabletop chaos and stupidity. Is to have the 4 other people. You run your character, and then you hand the mouse off to everybody else so they can go out and do whatever the hell they want.
Do a LAN party.
And at that point, the computer is now your the GM, and the party is all going, I'm going over here. No, don't. I need you over here. Nope, bye. Whee! I hate you. Come back. I'm going to go over here. I'm power attacking. Don't power attack. That's not the optimal move at this moment. And splat. Fuck. Well, we all died. Reload. But the thing is, when you're playing by yourself, you get to do that thing that everybody wishes they could do, and that is to grab your fellow player by the scruff of the neck and go, stop being dumb. But I'm having fun. No, you're ruining it for everybody else. Sit. Do what you're told.
You know, I burned down one building. I swear to God, I burned down one building full of witches, and I don't hear the end of this.
And you never will.
I don't think we spell witches the same.
Right. The thing is that
you might spell them WITCH, but I'm pretty sure everyone else spelled them CHILD.
But the thing is that I really don't look at the computer game. The computer game is just fun. It's a chance to go play by yourself and have a cool adventure. But the thing is, it's not the same as having, if the 5 of us would sit down and go play any of these modules, and then our entire job is to torment whatever poor sap has to sit behind that screen. And he's like, all right, everybody, we're going to play this. And we get Connell lighting this small, a building on fire. I'm trying to overthrow a kingdom. I don't know what everybody else is doing. I don't care what everybody else is doing. Because I've got an instant messenger program, and I'm writing a small novel going, this is all what's happening in the background. Do we have 8 hours downtime? Here's what's happening in 8 hours downtime. Why? Because I have it itemized down to the point where if you give me 5 minutes, I've got a plan, and I'm going to engage. Look, you all have 2 hours of downtime. Initiate plan Charlie. Boom. Charlie 3. Got it. Boom. And wait, you have code names for all of your plans? Yes, and contingencies all ready to go. Why? Because I need downtime, and we finally have it. Click. All right, let's go. Everybody else, I have no idea. Here's my itinerary.
And that's where guilds can come in too. If a party member is part of a guild that'll help them do all of those shenanigans, then yeah, absolutely, that's the stuff that can happen in the background.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you get that one player, the guild's a great way for that one player who just can't find interaction at the table to be engaging because everybody else is either hogging the screen time or being retarded. Having that one player goes, I'm just going to go off over here for a while and go deal with the guild. If you need me, I'll be over here. And then you're off busy, being a guild member and having guild hijinks and shenanigans. Yes, shenanigans. And then
Shenanigans?
Say that word one more time. I swear to God, I'm going to pistol whip you.
Do it, please.
Shenanigans.
Yes. But the thing here is that it's like that's a great way for that one player who has the novel of a contingency plans for contingency plans to have an outlet, because now they're part of an organization and they can do something. So that when the rest of the party is, I'm out drinking, whoring, and punching people at the bar and being hauled in by the MPs because I'm a fucking retard. Guess what? They can have that fun, and then that player who realizes that the entire session has just been derailed and is now ruined by a bar fight, and the town guard giving you a nice city hard beat down for, why the fuck did you do that? Because we're bored and we're drinking and whoring, it's what we do. That one player can feel like he actually did something useful and constructive with his time. So
the other thing I think is really interesting with the guilds is not everybody in the same party has to belong to the same guild. So what if you're all playing good aligned characters? I mean, even the rogue is more neutral good than good. He'll save the baby, but he's going to lift the purse off the mother all at the same time. But you got the cleric, or not the cleric, the paladin who belongs to, we must stop all crime, stop the evildoers. And, well, the rogue still got to pay dues back at, the clubhouse, Club Moose. So how does that work?
Well, that gets into intra-party politics and how guilds can influence them.
I mean, we can branch into that later on, but I was thinking about
if you
that.
want to dive into it now, we can. We're just going to be operating with like 2 hanging topics, and I'm okay with that.
It's all
yes, we derail like Amtrak. Let's go, okay?
The thoughts of Kai are not the consensus of TableBreakers or TableBreakers group. So anything that Kai says, we may not fully agree with. And okay, I think I got the disclaimers out of the way. Go, Kai.
Really quick though, with Kai and all his different plans, I know I'm going by the Cigar DM, but I'm really thinking about starting calling him Hannibal because he is the man with the plan. Give him an hour, he'll have a plan. Give him 2 hours, he'll have a great plan.
And he'll fire millions of ballista bolts and not hit anybody.
No. He'll fire the mean cannons, and millions of emotions will be upset.
I don't really.
I like it when a good mean goes to when a good mean happens.
Look, you aim over them. That's what you do. You make them think you're shooting at them, so they all duck.
And then you shoot ducks at them.
That's right. That's right.
Shoot a duck. Yes.
The wizard finds a way to fly a castle, aka a tank, whatever.
I think you're Mr. Guyver now, and with A-Team here.
No, they flew a tank.
I know.
Anyways, going back to guilds and how to fuck with the DM while the DM's fucking with you.
And what else do you want to discuss on this topic, Bruce?
Well, the thing is that with guilds, I wanted to see what you guys would do and how you would progress your game, because it is a game. You could say you progress your story, but then we would have somebody in Sheboygan explode out of anger. But I think that you need to have and drink. I said story. You want to have a situation pop up where the guild's operator in the party is going to do something to not benefit the party. He's not going to betray the party outright, or he might, but the party rogue. Perfect example. My friend Brooke played this guy named Brev. And Brev loved to steal shit left and right. And oftentimes he would have things happen to him. And the effects of this would echo. And he didn't like it because he started, realizing that, yeah, I get gold and experience points for these gems, but somebody really misses these gems and now I've got a couple thick neck Tonys after me, and they're gonna push my face into the wall at a high velocity.
Repeatedly until it gets through.
Yeah, where's the fucking necklace, Lebowski? Where'd you put it? And it's gonna be one of those situations.
It's down here. It's still down here. Just put my head back in the toilet one more time. I'll find it.
So you have situations where that's not bad when it happens to Brev. But say if the party gets attacked while they're staying in a city where they've stolen stuff from, or in a city close to where they've stolen things from, and they didn't realize they stole it and fenced it because the rogue is a sneaky bastard. But now the party's getting hit. How do you, as GMs, how do you guys deal with that? How do you throw that in the party? Because that's a lasting situation where you as a GM, you really should run your games hard. And when I say that, I mean you shouldn't allow your players to roll a 15 on diplomacy check and all is well, and that was it for that little encounter. No. You should force your players to role play. You should force your players to try to figure out how to keep their skin attached, how to keep their skin attached, how not to be circumcised in a back alley, how to keep their head attached to its neck properly. You have these guys that they want to go fuck everything, and there's going to be a time where you have a bad situation where one of your younger friends at the table is going to take a 19-year-old character. He's going to have an affair with a 15-year-old girl or younger, and that should follow the party. That should follow the party. So I'm pretty okay with that. I'm pretty okay. No. Hit the party with this. Like, hey, your junior fighter, the pugilist in training, the 19-year-old that is a part of your party. He went and screwed a girl he thought was a table wench at a bar, and come to find out, she's a little duke's niece, and she's only how old? Oh, this could get very interesting, and it should. It should get super interesting.
Choices and consequences.
Yes,
Place
don't
games.
let them off.
You also never know that. Look, you never know what. I know every once in a while, it's the players who always get the idea that we're the ones that are going to go out there and slum it one time. It's like, oh, we're rich and powerful, we're going to slum it. But when you're second level, when you're just fucking around as that newbie character, and you're out having that first, in character go drinking and whoring session, which everyone engages in at least every once in a while, and then you're out there and kind of to build off of that thing that you kind of worked with there, Bruce, and with that idea of, well, yeah, that person that you were out there with, they're the ones who chose to slum it that night. They're the ones who snuck out there and went, you know what, fuck it, I want to go sleep with some big giant burly retard, aka a fighter. And then suddenly, a week or two later, because players, fuck it, it's just a one night stand, no consequences, until suddenly, oh shit, hi, and then suddenly it's like several royal guardsmen are sitting here going, yeah, the princess wants to talk to you. About what? Yeah, about the fact that you need to find some money real fast. What? Oh, shit. And because now daddy's little daughter is now knocked up, and she's going to either knock you out of the picture, which now you're like, wait, what? Well, she can't let it be known that she slept with some common some common loser like you. Wait, I'm a hero. You're a third level character. You're a loser.
Okay. Real quick. At what point do you have your campaign NPCs stop leveling? Say like you have a war hero. Say you have General Mad Dog Mattis in your campaign. What level would you make him? Baron?
I'm not catching a reference.
Mattis was he was a 4-star general out of the Marine Corps, and
Oh,
he
okay.
was,
I should say for a while.
yeah, he was the guy that the day after they outlawed the knife hand, this, when you address somebody, you point all 4 fingers and your thumb at them, and you let them know you are the target of my verbal assault. Your feelings will not be spared. They outlawed this, and a day later, he resigned from the Marine Corps.
Good to know.
But what would you say? You had a famous 4-star general from when you were growing up, and he was in your D&D game, or he was in your game. Doesn't have to be D&D, but what level would you make him?
Depends on what I'm shooting for. Oh, sorry, I'll be quiet. Let somebody else answer first.
Well, if I have
Well-
I'll jump on this one first. I'll go ahead and jump on this one first. If I'm using, let's say, Patton, I know who Patton is. We all know who Patton is. Him and his ever and shrinking stars of glory. One day he has 3, one day he has 4, one day he has 2. Somehow they keep going up and down. Whatever. He would never be. He wouldn't have a level. He would just be an NPC. Or if he started off as a recruit and turned into a 4-star, that's epic. That's over 20 easy. So I don't think I could fit that in my campaign. Any campaign I write, having this legendary leader, don't give me that look. In my campaign, not your campaign, my campaign. It not being an NPC. So yeah. Apparently Jaide has something. Oh, sorry. Jaide has.
I know it's always reversed.
Right.
Baron, did you have something to add?
I mean, it all depends on when that general is being introduced. Is this general going to be an in-boss? If he is, he's going to be like level 20. Truthfully, even he in order to reach that rank, if you look at the age of what it of even a 1-star general, the basic age of them is late 40s, because it just takes so long to even if they have a rapid rise, it still takes them at least 40 years or 20 years to get up to that type of rank. They are more than a lifer.
That's
And
retirement age for everybody else.
oh yeah, pretty much. And but they're retiring from the military, because usually after 20 they're like, okay, I've did my 20, I'm out. And then they go get a job for the next 20, and then they have all kinds of money coming in. But I would say it would be more of an in-level type boss, just for the simple fact of looking at the age and then dropping the age factor into what the typical TTRPG has. That's where I would actually go with.
My favorite campaign setting had a city that had 80,000 people by book. Garrett, we both have this book. Every class that was represented out of the core rule book for 3.5 there was one character of every class that had hit 20th level. Now, you didn't have to use the general as a mentor or as an end boss. But no, the commissar was his name. But you could. You didn't have to. But you had all these opportunities for older style gaming that Monty had put in, and drink, because I said Monty Cook. So anyway, Monty Cook wrote all these mentors in to where if you had old style, level up, find a mentor, get trained by somebody better than you. You had all these opportunities to have that. And all of these people were involved with organizations. Everything ties back to Tollus, okay? And yes, Shadzar, everybody needs to embrace the suck, lean into the pain that's in your life, learn to snuggle with it, and that way it's not going to suck so bad. You don't have to worry about the bad things because already they're up against your face and you're caressing them with your cheek stubble like it's a titty. All right? Yeah. So do that. The reason why I always go back to Tollus is that it taught me a lot of lessons. One, connect everything. Make everything connected. Somehow, some way, you should be able to do with the Kevin Bacon game within 7 connections or so from here to there. And that book shows you how to do it. Everything is hyperlinked on the margins, and you'll find it. Secondly, there's organizations. They detail like 20 organizations in that book, from guilds to churches to political circles, everything. You have this tied in. So all the players really have to do is open up their fucking mouths and role play. And I know I'm getting, let's talk about role play. No, let's talk about the players putting their character sheets aside and adapting themselves to the role and saying, I'm going to do this, or Tommy's going to do this. Because you could say it first person genre film style, or you could do it, Bruce, I'm a sociopath, third person style. I don't care. Just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. Because if not, you're going to let the players go into, oh, I'm going to roll a die and see who I need to talk to. Why don't you just ask? Why don't you just open your mouth, ask a stable hand, ask a barmaid, ask this guy in the corner that's a town crier, ask this guy at the library. He might be a bard or sage. Open up your mouth and do it. And that's like 90% of the game that is being forgotten about because people, one, they don't read much anymore, and two, they're talking less. And the new style of games have come out since 3rd edition, and I love 3rd edition. I'm telling you that was kind of the downhill for the entire industry because it brought into this mentality where you could just roll a die and you know everything about said topic. I roll a die. What's my knowledge local about this guy in town? I roll my knowledge ability. What do I know? I roll a 38 because I'm a 15th level fucking bookworm. What do I know? So you do all these things, and as a DM, you curtail and you curate your players to where they open their mouth and they actively start to talk and interact with people in the town. Or worse yet, they're talking at the table to each other and they're saying, no, about 3 sessions ago when you were gone, we had interactions with this guy. Here's what happened. We talked to these people and your character was there. So now they've made it a little bit easier for this player to get in the mindset. This is not going to be a hard first introduction. I've already got a good relationship or rapport with this person or this organization. And now I can use this. Shadzar brings up a neat thing. Giving players a character sheet is like more than an index card with all the gear of the list is how you get role players. The less information you put in front of the player, the less they're going to play to the character sheet. The more they're going to play the character. Mike, let's talk about index card RPG.
I know that a lot of you guys are not fans of 5e, and that's fine. You know, I'm not trying to convert anybody here. But the one good thing I can say that most of you guys might agree with, maybe, is if you look at the 5e character sheet, I'm saying character sheet, the list of skills is not as outrageous as it was in Pathfinder or 3.5. They've dialed it down by a lot.
Yes.
You don't need skills.
5e is the Nintendo GameCube of role-playing games. You have the do button. You have your 4 or 5 skills of do other thing, do this other thing, do magical thing, do thing that makes you not die. And so when
I don't run like that. I mean, I've heard this argument.
3-5 gives you
I
400,000
don't run like that.
But
People who
this
play
is
me
that-
don't run like that.
But 5e skills are like derp. I like do. Okay. Is it one of my 8 skills? And I'm going to show you the best character sheet ever made right here. Blank sheet of paper. You write down what you think is important to you. You don't have this thing where it goes, no. You need to make sure you fill out each little slot and make sure all your math. If you don't know how to do math, you don't figure out your equations. Your character sheet goes, what's important to your character? You write it down on this blank sheet of paper, and it's this magical document where suddenly you have to learn your shit, rather than, well, now as long as I fill out all 18 boxes, I'm okay. Have you done your tax return yet?
Do I even have a
It's like, because that's what gaming is. Have you done your tax return? Have you filled out items for 14B so that way you can get your math equations so you can go over here and make sure that you have gotten your attack deductible? Have you figured out, do you need to go out to sheet 3 so that way we can figure out what your combat modifiers are, because that way you can carry it over to box 12. There you go. Now you can play a good D&D fighter character. Yay!
No,
I've got
all
an Excel.
seriousness.
I've got an Excel sheet for that. It's all right. It automatically carries all that over.
Okay, so
I've said this before. If you're getting in, Dungeons and Dragons was never as popular as it is now. So we have people jumping in, kids. We have young kids jumping in now, and 5e is nothing more than putting training wheels on a fucking bike.
yes.
I mean, in reality, or in all honesty, yes, a blank piece of paper can become a character sheet, and you really only need the primary stats. You can know, the important stats for your character. Have a name, have a goal. That's all you need. You don't need skills. Like when I say, "Hey, it's like I want to go investigate this thing." Okay, roll me a intelligence investigation roll. I don't have to say roll an investigation skill. I say roll intelligence, and because that's what investigation is, or what you're using for investigation. Or hey, I'm going to search this wall for the secret door. Okay, give me a wits or a wisdom or a intelligence roll. Either A, you know how to search for hidden doors, or B, you're going to stumble upon it through observation. It's you don't need this, all these skill modifiers. You just need your base stats.
Yeah, the best thing is a comment out of my chat is don't forget the algebraic at epic level, algebraic equations at epic level.
I mean, part of the joke with Pathfinder is it's called Math Finder because there's, it's still. Sorry, I'm reading, but our resident Shadar has to, Shats Shitbird. I know that's not fair. Has to say.
I mean, he's not wrong. D&D didn't really become popular until Critical Role really came onto the scene. Then it got incredibly popular. And you have to admit, it did get a lot more traction once something Critical Role started taking place. It got a lot more traction.
I mean, that's a business. You have to build a brand somehow. You have to make yourself noticeable.
We are way off topic at this point.
Yeah. Back to.
Sorry. I'm going to try to get this train back. Damn it.
We have two topics.
Amtrak indeed.
Okay, so yeah, the game started getting popular. Unfortunately, there was a guy that tried to make it popular on his brand. Thank God nobody likes Will Wheaton. Fuck you, Will.
Stop, Crusher.
So shut up, Wesley.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then we had Critical Role come out in 2015. They were playing Pathfinder, and nobody really paid attention to it. But then all of a sudden, like something happened. All the tertiary people around Critical Role started making their own content, And then you have like this cute little girl with blue hair, and every guy that has never kissed a girl before, every guy that's never heard a woman bitch about her outfit or get snarky about another woman's outfit and makeup, he thinks Ginny D's a perfect girl. That's your virgin. Anyway, sorry, dudes. If you're gonna simp for Ginny D, I got no sympathy for you. May you have your divorce. And I'm sorry that I'm gonna dog on Critical Role. I like Matt Mercer's work, I do, and I enjoyed Critical Role. I like some of the stuff that has come out. The music of Critical Role is great. The cartoon, if you enjoy cartoons, that's a fun adult cartoon. Now, don't take it as canon, and it doesn't have to be your game, but
Fucking hilarious.
it's,
No one.
it's a
It's
if you want to enjoy it, you can enjoy it.
I like Harmon Quest better.
Which one?
The Harmon Quest.
Yeah.
It's the guy who is behind Rick and Morty. He has him and they have their own DM, and the DM rolls everything. They tell him what they want to do, and the DM rolls it, and he goes, "You do it, or you don't do it." But I mean, it is legit a actual role playing, as opposed to because the DM has all the numbers, all the stats. He's the one controlling all the die rolls, and basically they're just telling the story. They have animated style that they put in there of them like walking through and doing stuff. It's actually it's I think they're on like the third season. I love Harmon Quest.
Okay.
But back to guilds and how to use them.
I was just saying that I like Tolus because it teaches you how to navigate and how to put together a fantasy city. How would you have your mayor operate? How would you have the local lord of the military work in tandem with the fucking Wizards Guild? How does a church that is a theocratic monopoly on the rest of the city, and whenever it's time to fucking issue guilt, here they come to lay down the smack upon your vices? That book showed me so many different ways of how to pry a party from one direction to another. So if you guys want to say this is just a 2-hour long commercial for Tolus, you may, and I don't, my feelings will still, I sleep with a fan on. I just want you guys, if you're wanting more help, that would be one of the first places I look. It does have a cost, but it is very good. And there's a lot of free samples on the web, and you should probably look for them. They have a system neutral version. They've got a Cypher, whatever system Cook brings to the table now. They got a 5e version, and you can find a 3.5 version somewhere on the high seas. Have fun with that, and you will. I think that these lessons that were taught there, they show you ways and how to pry the characters back and forth. And there's a main campaign in there that does take you from 1st to 20th level. But even more importantly, the ideas at the end of that of where to go from here. And they have about 7 or 8 pages for you to read. And one of the ideas is to, how would you pick up the pieces when these 3 guilds fell apart? And have the players start off as town guardsmen, an organization, a job, and have them go through their life and just have them just don't even go like day to day. Have them go week to week for months at a time. And they're doing stuff, and there'll be things brought in and the evidence lockers, and they're cops. They're fucking cops. So you're gonna have a mindset to put it down to where your players are investigators or they're on beats, and they have to understand what's going on and how is the city going to react, and how can the players prevent things from sliding downhill at this point. Because at one point in the campaign, there's an opening for 3 full guilds to fall apart. That has huge ramifications. And worse yet, part of the campaign involves unearthing and freeing up a vault of evil artifacts, the Bane Warrens. Now, throughout that campaign, the good RPers, the good aligned players are awarded a lot of gold. So you always have a chance to have things crafted for you or to buy things at the resale shop. But if you have a evil party, that vault, the Bane Warrens, is all the reward the players have ever wanted. Anyway, Garrett, how would you pry a religious themed character like a cleric, a divine oracle, a paladin? How do you get them to pull the party off in a direction? And I know this is a softball question, so guys, I don't expect a softball answer, but this is a softball question. It's going to lead to other things.
He only did this because I played the only cleric that in his games for like years.
No, I didn't actually, but you were the one in the top left corner.
Oh, that too. Basically you can use the church, especially I'm going to use Patola since we're talking about it. If your cleric is the Church of Lothian, they talk to their clerics. They do issue orders and edicts. So that's one way that you can, especially if they're either an urbanized or even if they're traveling, they will have a way of contacting their clergymen and to say, hey, this is an issue. You're in the area. See what you can do to take care of it. And basically, I mean, it's kind of like if you're a soldier, the orders come down on high. Yes, sir. Here we go. And you do it until it's done. It's basically the same way. You are when you're a cleric or even a paladin, whatever, you are the eyes and ears and also the face of the church when you're out and about. You need to be seen doing what the church tells you are supposed to be doing. And if you're not, then the church starts going, maybe we should part ways, and you get that the full blown early 2000s you're fired type deal. So I mean, it's the Bruce caught that good.
I caught it. I was just going to leave it alone.
or if you want, we can go full WWE style. You're fired. I can pluck Vincent Kennedy McMahon out of there too. But I mean, that is the basic thing, is that if you are running your game correctly, the story is there. I'm sorry, if the DM is not weaving a story for you, they are not doing the job, period. And you may love story, you may hate story, but if you think about it, anytime that you're doing anything in a tabletop RPG, there's story involved. If you're rolling dice, that's advancing the story. When you level up your character, that is advancing your character's story. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that with when you're playing the character, you have your own narrative by what and I'm going to use 3-5, what feat you're taking, what stats you increase when you hit get stat boosts, the gear you buy. All of that is your narrative for your character. You buy a +1 sword because I can hit harder. That is forwarding your story, your narrative of your character. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that, they're like, oh, I hate story. Oh my God. But the thing is that with that, no matter where you're looking at it, if you're sitting down, you're rolling dice, you are forwarding the story.
Okay.
bar none, no, that it is what it is. So using the characters' classes, you've got we've already talked about the rogue and the thieves guild. You've got the clerics, paladins, etc. out of the church. If there's a fighters guild, they're going to be snagged and say, hey, there's honor to be had over there, go get it. And if you're looking at kind of the bards do typically roll into into the thieves guild just because of the skill set, not necessarily the skills that are actually there. It's how they act, what they do, where they are actually placed within the group. So it is basically the DM is using those hooks to further the overall arc and also the personal story of the characters.
Okay. So saying that you're going along the lines that I kind of thought you were going to go, and you also brought back something you said about 2 weeks ago where you said when you're rolling a die, you're actually character building, which story building. That kind of made a nice homage to that. Kai, you're a dungeon master. You have either a paladin, an oracle, or a cleric at your table, or you have a whole party of them. No. You have a singular character. Because if I said you have a paladin-led religious party at your table, how do you do this crusade properly? Well, that might just lead for another hour. But go ahead, answer which one you. How do you kite players that are religiously affiliated?
I want to introduce you to a concept known as the celestial divine bureaucracy. Welcome to the greatest, most terrible organization you will ever meet. As your party, it doesn't matter what god you are, now has to deal like we're gonna pray to this end. Well, actually, your god has decided that you're not important enough, so I'm putting you off onto the sub god who's actually in charge of this department. He's going to handle you. He's going to be your caseworker for this time. But we're on a yes, you're on a crusade. But unfortunately, your crusade is actually not as important as it is as you think it is. But we're going to no. I'm sorry, because there's that one player who's more devout than anyone else in the entire universe, and you could try to let him be, some horrifying Spanish Inquisition guy, or since we're playing in high fantasy, and and you're not just dealing with a monotheistic faith or some Abrahamic religion thing where it's just like one angel going, "Oh fuck, did I start 3 religions? Oh shit, shit, how do I own this shit?"
Okay, so far you're describing my Wrath of the Righteous group, but continue.
Right. But so you're sitting here now looking at the idea that, but you had that, so you had that one cleric that goes like, I go into a ritual to the temple and I summon down an avatar of my god and I speak to him, and some guy shows up and goes, "Hi, I'm actually the third angel who's actually in charge of this particular sect, and you're going to be handling this." Well, what do you mean I'm handling this? And then you drag them through the fact that creation is far, far more complex than your little pea brain thinks of. But since you think you're going to be doing the work of God, well, guess what? The gods are actually quite busy, and you're going to go find out that your crusade is not as easy as it's going to be. But don't worry, we're here to help you. We're here to help you. And this is your caseworker. And you just throw them like some small CR5 angel who celestial creature goes, "Hi, I'm your intermediary." Wait, what? Well, you're doing all the hard work. I'm here to do the paperwork for heaven. Wait, the heavens have paperwork? Yes, but you don't need to worry about it. You're mortal. But we're fighting for our God. I know. That's nice. Now, I'm going to point you in the right direction and push you. but I'm angry. No. You see, you're actually insulting like 4 or 5 other gods, but I want to fight demons. No, the demons actually kind of work for us, but we're kind of in a deal. What do you mean? Oh my God! Did you fail? Did you fail your all of your theology lessons? Wait, there's theology lessons? Oh God, you really are an idiot. Come on. I'm going to point you at some orcs and go kill them. Will this make God happy? Yes. Yes, it will. Go. Take care of this problem. And when you're done killing them, come back and I'll tell you to go kill somebody else.
Is it wrong of me to think I can't wait till you have like an emergency happen medically to where you have to be retired and all you can do is write our role playing paraphernalia and throw it on drive through, because that's probably going to be a better career for you than driving cross country. Yeah, Travis, he does tend to ramble quite a bit, and I love him for it, but he rambles all over the place.
That's right. The entire time he was talking and I was listening to him, I had Kansas Wayward Son ringing.
Yeah. I was like, suddenly we've gone from Wrath of the Righteous to Supernatural.
I would love to see Kai run a Supernatural themed game.
I'd play it. I'd sit in. How would you do? I mean, I know how I would do it.
The thing is that honestly, I have players who've tried to go with the whole stupid, the standard paladin cleric. We're gonna thump things because my God is good and all evil bad, and then have to go. No, actually, it's very much more complicated because at that point, because we're playing in a pantheist, in not just one polytheistic religion with one pantheon. No, it's like 3 or 4 or 5 of them glued together, and that's your average fantasy realm. And suddenly you're like going, well, technically, and they're not all trying to kill each other, and there's no Spaniards running around burning everything. Well, shit. And then you have players with this giant hard-on for, but I want to be a fucking stupid crusader, but there's no one to crusade against. Meanwhile, I just go out and pull, here's your book on Greek mythology, here's your Greek book on Roman mythology, here's some Egyptian mythology. Now look at how those religions work. Now here's some Zoroastrianism, here's some Shintoism, here's some of this. These are what you should be looking at. But what do you mean? Those are functional polytheistic religions. This is how it works. But I want to be a dumb, stupid. I want to crush evil. I good, crush bad. That is what I do. I'm sorry. Paladin needs to do that. No, that's not how it works. But I go to temple. Temple tells you to kill bad things. You are an idiot. Please stop breathing.
I feel like I might have to address chat here for a moment.
Go ahead.
We got him going earlier about GMing versus playing, and the fact that he hasn't played in a game for a while because
really isn't fair.
many of the reasons that he's on about right now. He's not really a fan of players who just come to the game and go, I want to wave a big stick and crush things. I think we're all pretty much at that point too.
Because you can find that a big stick crush things campaign. You can find that for a dime a dozen, and you can that's that methed out crack whores behind the Walmart going, you want to play some D&D? Yeah, trust me, you can find that kind of game anywhere on the fucking planet, man. I need to get my hit of just rolling nat 20s and budget my dice and getting some maximum damage hits. Man, just go buy a 6-pack of beer, go behind the Walmart, and go find some guys who are like working third shift. You're like, hey, you want to play some D&D? Well, fuck, it's better than stocking shelves. Yeah, let's fucking do it. and suddenly you got your campaign of some brainless wandering around there, throwing some dice around and drinking. And guess what? There's all the. Am I going to steal everything? Yes, you can go steal everything. I'm stealing everything. Yay! I'm gonna crush it. Yay! Congratulations. That's every D&D game you'll ever play for no effort. And honestly, no effort is boring. Stop trying low effort and shits and giggles just because, well, it's gonna be fun because I guarantee you that one guy who's like, I'm dark and brooding, and all I want to do is sit there and show how dark and brooding I am. I'm an anti-hero. I want to, and we're going to go talk to you. I'm going to go punch the head of, like, I'm going to show how intimidating I am by showing no authority. I know to authority whatsoever, and I'm going to cause a problem, and I'm going to derail the campaign for the next 6 to 7 adventures. And everybody who came here to actually role play interesting characters will have to sit through the fact that I decided to go and punch the shit out of the captain of the guard. Fun.
Hey,
and
Kai,
yes.
have you ever seen a movie called Near Dark?
No. Should I?
Yes, you should.
Yes. Yeah.
Near Dark is like the preamble of what was going to happen to James Cameron, because in '86, tangent time, in 1986, James Cameron made the finest science fiction action movie of all time with Aliens. Military science fiction, probably number 2. I like Starship Troopers better, but Aliens came out in '86. And his wife at the time, Gail Hurd, she looked at him and she said, "You've assembled a fine group of people. I'm going to take half your crew and I'm going to make a vampire movie." And she made a vampire movie called Near Dark. That's really not a vampire movie. I don't even think they mention vampires in this film, but they're vampires. You can tell they're vampires. And they go town to town in a van and try to get in a hotel before sunlight hits the horizon. And if they don't, they can bust into flames. And it's really cool. For a 1987 movie, it's probably the finest vampire film I've ever watched.
Okay.
And yeah, it's got some catharsis in it that you're kind of preaching against. But in some points, catharsis is really great. But it has to be well done narrative catharsis. And this movie, for being a James Cameron fanatic like you are, because I know you, and you do like those movies, you'll put on a movie occasionally just to have it on the background to remind you of happier times.
Yes.
Most of his good films happened 30 years ago or 25 years ago. And you're going to do that. But Near Dark is probably the finest I'm going to divorce you and take half your shit telegraph I've ever seen in the professional realm. Because Gail Hurd did exactly that with a movie, and then later she divorced his ass, and then she beat him at the Oscars when he tried to throw up Avatar, like, look at my CGI anime movie. And she's like, fuck you, Zero Dark 30. And she takes all the awards. But you probably need to see this because it's an important movie, and it actually rolls vampires the way that I would see vampires operating. I don't see them amassing a horde. I don't think a vampire would be part of an organization. I think after about 200 years, he'd be like,
I'm bored.
Yeah, he'd be a bored king. And so he would be so annoyed. And so they would just be on survival mode. That's it. And so every day is the same thing. We're going to go out, we're going to go find some food, play with it, eat it, and then go get a place to sleep while the sun's out. And then at night, we're going to go out and find another shitty dive bar, kill everybody in there, and we'll just wash, rinse, repeat. But it's the finest way you'll ever see Bill Paxton.
Awesome. And
He
Chad,
reprised
I wish I was describing Woody Harrelson. If the people I would game with were a fraction of that crazy, I'd put up with it more.
I love that character. Where's my fucking? Where are you? You delicious. Was it yellow squishy bastard? It's been a while since I've seen the movie. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think, like you said, vampires in the guild probably not a lich guild.
A
That
lich
could be
requires a
No.
lot more dedication. A lich requires a lot more dedication for him to follow through. I'm going to be a lich. A vampire.
And I get that, it's like you get a bunch of lynches together that've already somehow kicked off lichhood, right? And it starts to be a pissing contest between the liches. Then it turns into be something else.
It's an anime. It's called Overlord. There you go.
I've never seen it.
You should watch that one.
I'm looking. I was spitballing an idea. Okay, I had absolutely no idea that was a thing.
It's a really good one. If you want to
Yeah,
watch
it's
it,
a pretty good one.
it's good.
I didn't know if this is where Cigar DM. It's time for you to shut up. We this has already been done. I'm like, okay.
Well, I've made my points that I wanted to tonight because we got into the organization side of it, guilds, and we got into the religious side of it being churches. And I wanted to hear that. Jaide, I haven't asked you about how you pry-bar your players that are religiously affiliated. How do you usually do it? Because I want to an example of the fucking celestial bureaucracy, which completely fucks up a lot of people's narratives.
Well, all right. So that depends on the type of campaign I'm running. So if I'm running something that's on Rails, then player agency isn't as crucial to the campaign at that point because it's on Rails. If I'm running something completely off the rails and just freedom, go where you want to go do what you want to do. There's two methods of using it. So I'm going to start with Rails. If your campaign is on Rails, like let's say Wrath of the Righteous, that's a perfect example for this. You'll have religious characters by nature because that's what the campaign's about. It's about good versus evil, the heavens versus the hells, or in this case, the abyss. So you're going to have characters who are wanting to go out there and fight the hordes of the abyss, and they need direction. So how do they get that direction? They go and pray to their god, to the angels of their god, whatever, however you want to give the information out. It might be the head of the church. Let's say in using Wrath of the Righteous as an example, Queen Galfrey. She is the head of the church in her country, which she also happens to worship Iomade. So she comes in at the end of, or actually at the beginning of the second module set, and she tells the party or the heroes who just saved what's left of, not really, didn't really save it, but what's left of Canabras. I need you to march this army of 100 paladins to Dresden to take it back from the demons. So that's the head of the church getting directly involved, saying, "This is our plan of action. This is what I am asking you to go do. What is your reward?" The reward will be taking the city and being in charge of the city's direction from that point forward. I'm going to install you as heads of state for that city. Now, I'm going to go to the off the rails side. If your campaign has no rails, you have no actual story, so to say. It's go do whatever you want. You write the story. I'll just I'll be the arbiter of the world, the controller of the rules and how things happen and play out. But you're the making of the story. At that point, the players, if you have a player who is a cleric, a paladin, or an oracle, they're going to be looking for direction, and they are your typical hook character. That's the character you use to hook them in directions for religious orientation. So if you have an oracle, dreams. Dreams are a great way, of a deity or an agent of a deity to speak to oracles or clerics or paladins. They all, they can all get dreams. Now, if you have the one player who goes, "Well, I'm an elf and I don't have to sleep," Okay, fine. You get no direction. You don't have to sleep. You're right. You don't get a direction. So when your god says, "Hey, I think you go do this," it's not going to be in a dream. No, no. It's probably going to be in a tree falling in your way. It might be, waters rushing, the creek or river swelling up so badly you can't cross because it washed the bridge away. That's your God telling you, hey, I don't want you to go that direction right now. I need you to go elsewhere. Follow the river up or downstream, your choice. And that's where you put the things and the big bads or whatever. Um, but for completely off the rails campaigns, to use clerics or the religious types as primary hook characters, you have to give them something that their god would do to get their attention. It doesn't have to be this massive, you see a meteor in the sky falling towards you. No, it doesn't have to be like that. It can be subtle hints, and if your players are good at picking up subtle hints, then they will pick up on those things and be like, oh, hey, I think we need to go this direction because of XYZ, whatever the hint might be. But, the player has to be on board with, being able to pick up on those hints. And you have to kind of work with that player ahead of time to say, hey, when things like this happen, that's your God telling you, hey, there's something important you need to be paying attention to. Or, you might also have the characters who or the players who are like, well, you know what, I don't get hints. I'm oblivious to hints. Yeah, right.
I'm hard headed. I don't see shit. You have to give me a coloring book and help me.
And
what
you have
color
those.
is this sky here? Black or blue?
Yeah, and you have those types of players, and you might have to use a clue by four occasionally.
I love that.
I mean, sometimes I have to use a clue by 12, but I'm not going to get into that one. But no, so sometimes you do have to hit them over the head pretty hard with a big stick that says, hey, if you're wanting to progress your religious story elements or your religious ideals, this is the direction you need to go. And sometimes that happens outside of the table, away from the table, not necessarily at the table. For the more oblivious people, I'm not trying to poke fun at you or anything. It happens. Some people just might have an off day and might not be getting the clues. The GM might text them or message them in some way with a written note or whatnot. Says, hey, I realize you might be having a tough time right now. Here's your clues and here's what they mean. Here's the threads I've given you. And then they can take it from there. So in a lot of ways, for religious characters, they can really lead the story, lead the party anywhere. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead and steal the clue by four. I stole it from somewhere. I can't even remember, like 10 years ago. But no, so GMs, work with your players who want to play religious characters. Work with your players who want to advance gameplay or story or the campaign in a direction. Work with them to put hooks in place that they are going to recognize, whether it's completely obvious to everyone at the table or just a few of them, that they are then going to go explore those hooks. And it doesn't have to be just religion. It could be one of your players might be playing a character who's the eighth son of a local lord. They're not going to have power. They're the eighth son. What are they going to get out of this? They might get lucky and marry into another family that has land or some kind of political influence. But those characters, the eighth son of a lord, they might have political sway to a small degree, not a large degree, a small degree. And they might pick up on political affairs happening. Like you come across a caravan of tax collectors. Why is their wagon wheel broken? Well, maybe they were set upon. Maybe it's sabotage. But their wheels are typically rimmed in steel to prevent that. Why did it happen? And then you can pick up on that and go, oh, it was sabotage. When was it sabotaged? How was it sabotaged? Where was it sabotaged? So those are things, if a player has built a character to facilitate those kinds of actions or those kinds of hooks, use that character's hook, use that character's background as a hook device for anything. And, I have a character who's got, who's a barbarian. What's their hook? They were kicked out of their local barbarian tribe for whatever reason, XYZ reason. And, they, let's say, I'm actually going to use this came from the Wrath of the Righteous campaign. I'm going to use the barbarian that the party picked up. Instead of killing, they picked up the barbarian as a cohort. The barbarian's story was that she was kicked out of the tribe because the leader of it started getting more and more influence and more demonic powers. And instead of trying to take the tribe like she normally would, she knew she couldn't beat the new leader of the tribe. So she met up with the players eventually, tried to kill them, failed miserably, and ended up working with them instead because they beat her into submission. And then when they went back to her tribe, she basically set a challenge to the leader of the tribe and took over the tribe after beating him. After he tried to cheat in a one-on-one combat with the paladin of the party, she came in. That was quite the epic fight. So she came in after he cheated, after he broke the rules of combat, and took him down with gleeful catharsis. She just went to town on him. He was already slightly injured. A lot of people might say, well, where's the honor in that? Well, he already broke the rules of engagement. He dishonored the combat in a single one-on-one combat, so she entered the fray.
Yes, Travis.
But,
yeah.
Huh?
Travis says, so it's kind of like today's U.S. politics. Yeah. Yeah.
So, that was a hook to lead into. I mean, granted, she was an NPC, but she has goals. She has, her own personal goals, and that I think that's one of the big elements that's missing in a lot of games is your NPCs have to follow a goal, a occupation, and they have to have, there has to be something at stake for these two objects, their occupation and their goal. And if you have those elements plus their disposition towards the goal or their job, those elements can make a living campaign. Those elements can make living, breathing NPCs. Just because they fought this barbarian in a castle, and they were supposed to kill it, and they decided not to. Well, shit, what do I do with this barbarian? I make it a story element for them to go, hook to go find and use in a future combat scenario or future role play scenario. So these are just things you can do, not just religious, but there are a multitude of ways you can hook players based on their character's history or their character's build styles. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, to kind of build on that a little bit more, because we're looking at only like the clerics and paladins. We're forgetting about the flip side of the divine, which is the druids.
Yeah.
Druids are I mean, to me are a lot easier because you can have animals come up to them. You can, nature speak to them. Trees sway in the way to force them to go certain way, them and the party to go certain ways. So I mean, it's just not only on the divine side, especially if they need that clue by 4 upside the head, but it's also the on the divine side, you can use that all. On the druid side, you could use it also.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Berries, druid circles. You can.
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, druids even have their own fucking language for a reason. I mean, you can't be. The only way to learn said language is to be a druid. Therefore, they have their own basically set up where if they need information, like as Jaide has said, that there is ways throughout nature or other druids that they can get said information. So, yeah.
You were saying, Kai?
Druids are not hermits. They usually belong to larger circles. So you can either have petitioners, people who other woodsy folk, your rangers, your barbarians, your more rugged individuals, your lumberjacks coming up to your druids and going, help, or as we did say, you could have your Disney princess bullshit moment of some some birdies come floating in on a tree branch and go, tweet, tweet, help us! The evil people are burning down the woods. Oh, now Druid's like fucking Greenpeace with an assault rifle. Now we're gonna go out there. We're gonna go kill some people. I hope you like. I hope you like. What are you gonna do? Fucking firing fireballs and death and destruction. Oh, and a tidal wave. Oh shit. I thought we were going to have a bad problem with, the gates, with the heavens opening up and us being burnt by, righteousness. But no, you're just going to rend the planet and eat us and then plant a tree on our corpse because that way you have some value. And suddenly it's like.
On them? No. Qual's feather token tree in them.
Right. But still, but when you get your pissed off druid because, some squirrels and birdies decide to come over there and tell you, passing on the word of the tree, because somebody mowed their grass wrong, and oh shit, the nature god's pissed, and you didn't offer your proper sacrifice to him, and now your druid's like shows up and goes, you didn't kill 14 goats to my nature god's on the altar to cut down that forest. Well, yeah, what do I care? And I'm gonna turn your castle now into a straight flat plain. Huh? What do you mean? Ground opens up, eats the castle, and I don't care because I'm an arc druid. Fuck off. And you already have other druids who show up and go, yeah, I got problems. In your mystic druid language of, I don't know, the sound of woods or whatever druids sound like. Rustling tree spirit bullshit. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, look, we had a conversation. On the full moon, we're all having our nice little time. And poof, there you go. And that's how you keep your druid in line, because honestly, most druid players are actually kind of the most passive people in the entire universe. And it's like, when you have a druid person at the table, it's like, hey, druid, what are you going to do? I'm going to commune with trees. Cool. You do that, buddy. Yeah. Trees.
I think the best part about that barbarian story element that I used was
Good. I like
the paladin of the group had said, "Well, we've beaten a tyrant today, and these are good things. Your people will be free of tyranny." To which the barbarian looked at him and said, well, yes, that's one tyrant, but you are a different type of tyrant. You are now our tyrant because you beat us. And it was kind of an eye-opener for him as a player, because he was like, oh, yeah, I did beat them beat her in single unarmed combat, or armed, it was definitely armed combat. And he came to realize that everything her people went through under the previous tyrant leader, he was just as much just the opposite side of the coin than their previous leader. So it was really an eye-opener, and it was a great role-play moment. Oh, excuse me. It was a great role-play moment for him as a player. So those are things that you can do, like I said, with just about any NPC. If you give them their life goal and follow their life goal, full circle with the PCs. So, what else we got?
Really, I think we're getting close to the end of our stream. I just did a small meme review there of the Clue by 4, thanks to Parrot Head. And yeah, I appreciate that, Parrot Head. I really, really appreciate that. Not expecting those.
It was good.
We're about an hour and 49 minutes. Garrett, I'm going to segue into prep for next week. because I think we covered a lot of good bases here. We talked about organizations, how you can use them, be it whatever type of organization you're doing, how you can involve your players and your campaign and weave them into your narrative for your better story.
I'm out of drink.
I'd give you my vodka. It's really not that good, though.
Oh, well.
It's,
I got some
Can't find
upstairs.
good vodka right now. I don't want to talk about it.
this is like the worst vodka I've ever had. It reminds me of McCormick.
Worse than Sky? Worse than Sky vodka.
Sky vodka.
That's brewed.
I'd rather have Sky vodka than this.
McCormick?
Sky
McCormick.
vodka.
This is McCormick grade vodka.
Woo!
Aristocrat. Great alcohol.
I gotta find this thing called Irish whiskey. I know it exists, and it's not Puccini for those who know what Puccini is. Because oh god, my audio check might be off. I'm using a
Could be bandwidth. Could be bandwidth.
Shit. I fucked up. I didn't get to Chimerian the levels of general.
Yeah, I didn't wait on one either.
That's a thesis paper for another day.
I mean, we kind of went around everything. I think there's still more meat on this bone per se, because we're still dealing with. We've done religion and inner politics. We haven't dealt with. We kind of talked about the bard, but we haven't talked about that one player that wants to be Happy Much Killjoy, not kill, whatever. I don't know. It's up to you guys where you want to go with. I think there's a little bit more meat on this bone, but I could be wrong.
We can move wherever.
Well, the thing is that there's another theory to it, and we can go into that another session because I really like what I read from Creighton Broadhurst, the CEO of Raging Swan Press. And for all of you dungeon masters out there, Raging Swan Press is the fucking authority of free Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy gaming material that you can bring to your table on a weekly basis and throw curveballs at your players and make them go off on weird and fun tangents and fill up your campaign with actual individual situations. He has a supplement for like $2 called Contents of a Dead Cleric's Pockets.
God.
I've seen that.
I've seen
That's
them. Good.
You get a hold of shit like this, and this is more joy for you than me finding a stack of Jack Chick religious pamphlets.
Oh no.
Reading them online. Okay. You want to know about joy as a dungeon master? You just throw a couple of these curveballs at your player, and they will go for an hour or 4 trying to figure out what these cryptic notes are. And you can either use them as red herrings and just fuck your campaign up for a night, or you can have them go as a spurned off side quest, which delves into 3 or 5 adventure nights where you will have your players spun up, because he does so many good things. If you, as a DM, don't have The Lonely Coast by Raging Swan Press in your downloads, The Lonely Coast is a 96 or 128 page free, I'd say that again, free campaign setting. And it's adaptable for anything because it's written for Pathfinder. So you can take it from super complex at and roll master level, and you can go up to index card RPG. You're a fucking smart person. You guys can convert on the fly. Don't think otherwise.
Discount Dan's used magic item emporium. All of them. Do not ask where they came from. They are all slightly broken. But if you get, but for $5, we'll let you go rummage through the tetanus shot and filled horrible broken items and just look for it. And people are like, wait, what? Well, yeah, all that shit you guys just leave every other adventure's left behind for years. It's over there in those giant piles. It's like a bad junkyard, and there's Discount Dan just sitting there, like a junkyard guy going, well, it's like pull apart. You just go out there and look at all that sundered, open, broken, dead adventurer gear. Some of it may still have. Man, I found a suit of armor and it still had an adventurer in it, and you're sitting here shaking the bones out of it.
The little rod grubs, they're all in it still.
And
Now see the one that I have used, and it literally ate up a half an hour of player time. And it was just meant to be one of those things as you're walking by, you're kind of just talking about the scenery. I said, as you come up to the Y in the road, and you're going to continue straight on to your destination, you see a black orc arrow stuck in a tree. The players did everything. They did all kinds of searches. They did all kinds of stuff. This is an arrow basically that was stuck in a tree that an orc shot. The tree had grown over the head of the arrow, and it was flavor text. But sometimes you can take weird little flavor text like that, and your players will go off on a tangent with it, saying, well, wait, he mentioned this. This might be important. And then they will sit and try to figure out, even though it's the most benign thing there is, and try to figure out exactly what is going on. So, I mean, that's a very good one also.
I think my favorite was the players had just gotten done beating the hell out of. Actually, no. Let's get to the point. Murdering a bunch of road bandits, and they were searching the pockets. And I had rolled randomly for like junk loot, like literally the most mundane of shit. These people were destitute road bandits, and one of them had a partially carved wooden horse wrapped in paper. So the player's like, hey, what's this mean? And they open up the paper and what's it say? And I panicked for a moment. I'm like, well, it's got a detailed drawing of the horse that it was wrapped around, and it says, for Lonnie. I didn't know who Lonnie was at the time, but apparently they're like, guys, what did we just do? And it made everyone stop and be like, wait, we just wiped out this entire group of people, and this guy had a carved horse figure in his pocket, like half carved horse figure. What did we just do? And I'm like, you know what? And the inside me is like, I'm going to use that. I'm going to make you guys feel bad for murdering a bunch of road bandits. So I basically made up on the fly this entire like scenario where they get to this like really run down, destitute town, and like the people returning to road banditry because there was nothing to eat. There was no, there was no supplies. There was just a complete destitute town. And I had them meet up with this family, and they had a child named Lonnie. Turns out that they'd killed the older brother to Lonnie. And the PCs, all the players at the table just kind of went silent when they met this group, or met this family. And I think it changed everyone at the table slightly to be a little less murder hobo-tastic, but at the end of the day, they were still very much murder hobos. So anyway, but things in like pockets of dead adventurers or dead highwaymen can lead to literally anything, into adventures, into intrigue and mystery. So don't be afraid to put a random piece of junk in the pockets of those they kill.
So I'm going to catch a little. Wait, am I muted? No, I'm going to catch a little hell on this one. I was doing a homebrew one. I think it was in Charleston, yeah. And everybody there said they're seasonal, Pathfinder players. I'm like, that's cool. We'll see what this turns out to be. And like session 3, there's this one guy keeps talking about what was it? Deck of mini fucks.
The deck of many things. Oh,
And I'm like, okay, you say this one more, and I'm thinking to myself, if you say this like one more time, we're going to have a Beetlejuice moment here. And so they were on a mission to save somebody, and in the corner of the, where the child was being held, there was a skeleton, what looks like a wizard. Well, inside the skeleton's pocket, inside the wizard's pockets, because all wizards have pockets, that's what makes them magical. There was a deck of cards, just a plain deck of cards, and one of the players grabbed it without thinking about it. No, these can't be magical playing cards because magical playing cards, no, it's the legendary mimic that everybody jokes around, but no one's seen in 100 years. So one of them draws a card, and it is their soul gets taken out of their body and sent to the abyss. Guess where they went?
Yep.
They went to the abyss, and it turned what was supposed to be a one shot turned into like a 5-month campaign to get that poor bastard soul back because he pulled the wrong fucking card.
Yeah, randomness can lead to adventure.
Your
I think
players
that's the
are way more loyal than any of mine have.
That's why I love that. That's really why I love the Raging Swan Press stuff, because a lot of his format is random rolls, and you get one sweet line of text, and you blurt that out to your players, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh God, the Oracle's spoken. We have to avert from our main quest. I have to stop trying to get my Holy Avenger. We have to stop trying to fight this Orcan horde. We have to go and do this thing." And they do that. And they will pursue this fish up a stream that you've created off of a 7-second blurb. That's it. So as a DM, look at these when you roll it up, look at it real quick. And then after that, just make some notes, get some bullet points, borrow from previous experience, and roll with it.
Hell, borrow from some of our experience.
No.
That's the thing, is that all of this stuff, this is not brand new. What we're talking about, the 5 of us are talking about, the chat's talking about, none of this is brand new stuff. We're just trying to help new guys that have gotten into the hobby and they're kind of feeling like, I'm a little lost here, because a lot of them don't have a game store nearby. They have maybe some broadband or wired internet, and they've got the ability to listen. So maybe we're going to help somebody out in the future, or maybe that we're going to have something that falls out of our mouth that's going to be a nugget of wisdom, and it's going to provide them for a month or two of content for their table. And I say month meaning 4 sessions. So hopefully we can get like a good 140 hours out of a continued piece that maybe discarded brain dropping from one of us has given them some inspiration to pursue with their table. And those players are fucking trying to navigate the stream, and the DM's thrown random encounter, bad event, your aunt died, your dog got kicked, a random carnivore halfling attacked you in Dark Sun. Just random shit while they're going up trying to follow this little piece. And I hope we do that. And there was something I was going to do. Garrett, what are you releasing this week? We're at the 2-hour plus mark, and I apologize. What are you releasing this week? You've been dropping videos like a fucking fiend. You're over 300 subs. What? Wait. I thought you were going to drop like 10 last week.
I have no drink. I'm sorry. I'm out.
Dude, that's awesome. You've hit
That's
the
awesome.
algorithm stride. I've done it for 12 years, and I've been a total asshole and curated my group. You went out there, dropped fucking memes, you dropped fucking tags, and you've got all these people swimming upstream trying to follow you. That's awesome. 3 months, 400 subscribers. Good job.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, no doxing. No doxing. Yeah, no dox.
Son's almost to 220 subs. It's awesome.
I don't have any videos when I got my first sub.
If you had tits, you'd have 40 subs by now.
I know. I'm working on it.
Go ahead there. Gary.
Ah. Oh Jesus!
For those of you that missed the political bullshit that happened on Tuesday night, I'm going to bring you the. This is what happened Tuesday night. There you go. There's a 10-hour version of that stream. There's a 10-hour version of that stream if you have a small child or a easily entertained individual in your group that needs to see that. Everything that happened in politics this past 2 days or fucking year or what the fuck ever. And here's all the fucking people that are talking heads on every bullshit MSN channel or mainstream media, excuse me. Here's everything. Blah, 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 blah. That's all that fucking. It's the same shit, guys. Enjoy.
You need to pause
Go
it. But
ahead.
to properly recreate Tuesday, you need to pause every once in a while for a bunch of people to just clap like monkeys and then get back to it.
We have to stand up, sit down.
Stand up.
I didn't know it was a Catholic sermon.
It felt
Blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
I mean,
It was horrible.
We're
Yeah, it was-
cheering for. He spoke words, a whole sentence. Yay!
I was proud of him. He only got derailed a couple times, and I'll watch my subscriber count fall because of this. But go ahead.
Uraniums. I love the uranium people. Yep.
And then behind him, the
Actually,
brown
Iranian-
lady behind him was like Ukrainian Joe. You could see her mouth. It was great. And then at one point, the other battle axe over there, she stood up and started like rubbing her hands together, like somebody was going to get her some ice cream that Joe didn't have, and she was going to get it first. She totally was not at the fucking hall listening to that bullshit. And Shadow and Sun just won the internet. The best part was when it was over. Yeah. So Kai, what are you doing to further your channel?
showing up next week here.
Thank you.
Look, between
I see
sickness,
what you did.
life, family, moves, and an endless job, the fact that I'm here, energetic, is like the best part of my week. Okay, so right. This is the
Yeah, I think we
So
should rename this to the Exorcism of Kai. So that way, because he's excising all that stuff.
no. I like table breakers because then I can eventually not have to talk for maybe an hour. That'd be cool.
Okay.
I don't want this to be the rant show. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, see, that's what you build your own channel as.
That's right.
Now, see, since Bruce can't really ask himself, since we're up here on the top row, Bruce, what are you doing to further your channel?
Actually, later this week, probably like after Saturday morning hits, probably in the early morning, like 7, 8ish, I'm going to make a quick video and probably do the first reading of part 9 of the Elijah story. I've been kicking it around for a bit, and I need to finish that because it could be a full playlist of me reading a book to you, my book. Now, it's not a great book, but it's a fun book. There's a difference. Gone with the Wind, great movie. Tango and Cash, fun movie. Okay, see the difference there? So I'm going to be trying to finish that off. My parents get in town Monday sometime, maybe Saturday or Sunday, maybe Sunday probably. Not Saturday. They leave Illinois Saturday, and they're driving slow. And I expect them to be here Sunday night, Monday morning. So I probably won't be here for a lot of things next week. I'm not going to be here for Table Breakers. I apologize. I'm not going to be here for any stream. I'm going to be with my parents. I haven't seen them in almost 3 years. I love you guys, but get a chance to hang out with two 70-year-old people, I'm going to do that.
I'm going to say what I always say at my game table: real life before anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And truthfully, what we may wind up doing is, because I don't know where I'm going to be staying, because I just happen to be not after work tomorrow, so I don't know where I'm going to be staying, if the hotel is going to allow me to be able to host. So what we may do is, I think that we can take a well-deserved night off.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and punch it with our 20th episode.
That sounds great.
So we've been doing this for 20 weeks.
Most of you have.
I've learned about you guys more and more and more, and it's brought in a lot of thought processes in my gray matter. I don't know if it's helped you guys out, but
Oh yeah.
actually it's helped out quite a bit, and my players really hate me.
You're doing the job right then.
Yeah, it really. And I mean, we've got a chat that hasn't. I mean, for less than 10 people in our chat, we've got a lot of people that are just putting out ideas. Also, if you guys like great coffee, I'm an affiliate of Blackout Coffee. I recommend them. They are one of the few brands of coffee that actually deliver. Whenever I need to wake up, I chew up their beans to the grinder. I wake up, I have their coffee. I have no ill effects. It's great, and my coworkers can see a difference in me after I've had my first cup, because I'm willing to talk to them without using the word "fuck" 17 times per 3-word sentence. So
That's communication. What the fuck?
I know, right? I dropped the fuck word like it's a piece of punctuation, like it's a comma. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that before I have anything in the morning, I have to have coffee. So my poor coworkers have to deal with me, And my poor coworker Greg, he didn't even last like 7:50 today. He was already like, "I'm not talking to you all day." Good. Let me have my goddamn coffee. Anyway, Blackout Coffee, and if you really like them, get a message to me, and I'll see if I can get you a deal like what I've got, because I've got a special deal with them where I get it at a discount, and I can help you get a one-time discount. If you really like their stuff, I recommend you become an affiliate of theirs, because they have a very healthy plan. They have compensation. They have a 15% discount, and they do things that other coffee companies don't. Is it like Amway? I don't think so. I think they only give you like 1 or 2 levels of distribution bonuses, but still, you're getting money for the things you normally do. Yay! Do they ship to Texas? Do they ship to Texas? All right, that's all I want to know. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys could, Garrett, can you get the other channels in? Cigar DM. Have to ask you, are you going to do a video this week, or actually next 2 weeks?
Yeah, with the next 2 weeks, I'll definitely have something out. I was planning on sitting down this coming Saturday and just hammering some shit out.
Don't
Shout
worry
out.
about editing.
Good night, man.
Don't worry about
Don't worry about
editing.
editing. Yeah, give stream of consciousness. Because I know you, and in a lot of ways, you're your own worst enemy when it comes to self-consciousness. So don't worry about the editing. Put out your stream of consciousness. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, well, they don't like it. They can move on.
Exactly. Jaide, I know you probably haven't made a decision yet if you want to do your own content, but
I'm close to a decision. I'm weighing pros and cons. I'm trying to now formulate a list of ideas of like what do I want my content to be about, and once I have that list done, I'll be able to extrapolate from there. Now, I am a very technical person. It's kind of the engineering side of my brain. I like things in ordered lists, and everything has to be in order. So once I have idea for content in mind, and how I want to structure it, I'm going to start designing episodes, so to say, kind of like I approach game design or encounter design. I'm gonna lay it out in a format that's easy to digest, and pretty easy to follow, um, and easy to tell. I might have some lore for the game world I'm building. I might have gaming tips or encounter tips, on how to design encounters, whatnot. So I might give gaming advice. I might give lore dumps, so to say. So I'm not quite there yet. I'm still deciding things, and I do work a 40-hour-a-week job, so the weekends are the only time I really have to do a lot of this designing and planning and theorizing. But it's also the only time I get to spend with my wife, because she also works a 40-hour week. Actually, she works more than 40 hours a week currently. So I don't get to spend a hell of a lot of time with her in the evenings at home. So I do enjoy spending time with my wife on the weekends. So I may not put out a video for quite some time.
well, if you do, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where no matter what, you have a home here at TableBreakers. I like having you on. You provide a different perspective than what I do, and what Connell does, and what Garrett does, and definitely what Kai does. I value that. And the thing is that I want to keep this at the 5 that we are, even though a 6th person would actually benefit by making it look like 2 rows of my OCD would fix itself. I don't need to do that because what I want to do is have the group of us. We've all played together at the same table at one point or another. We've all gamed with each other, except for maybe Kai and Cigar DM. But I don't know if they've played together. But we all know each other personally. We've shaken each other's hands. We've looked at each other's miniature and book collections. We know who we are on a level that other gamers don't. No offense, but I wouldn't really want to have TableBreakers suddenly import a guy from Sheboygan. God bless you, Michigan people. But I don't want to have somebody who's never sat at our table physically and then made us suffer through their gastrointestinal hell when they eat our cooking. I don't want to do that. And I know that sounds geographically bigoted, but that's my rule. This is my channel. This is my house. You respect me. That's all I ask. And most people have no problem with that. But I really appreciate the value you bring to the group, Jaide. And I like how Cigar DM always seems to circle back and bring it to the he brings it to like a good God, don't hate me, dude. But Andy, you are a newer DM than the other three of us.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you always are able to bring it back to somebody who's just cracked open their first magenta box and like you start reciting like things and verbatim and what's that go and things like that. So you always manage to give us a good perspective, and you have no bones about like I play 5e. Most of us in the gaming community, we don't care. I would even say majority of people in this hobby play 5th edition. Now, I would also tell you that the majority of them would rather play everything else, like Hero System, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, something from the OSR, but they would rather play something else. But 5e will get you a spot at a fuck. Now, I'll say this with confidence because the Cigar DM is a game master for a brick and mortar store, and he gets to run modules there or campaigns for free and at a scale because he runs the current iteration of the world's most popular game. He gets to do that. Not many of us in the hobby can say that. Not many of us can say we've taken home books to enhance our game for the store campaign that's going on right now. So anybody that has a problem with him sitting at my panel like that, I just want you to know that he's sitting there for a reason, that he's bringing something to this chat that nobody else here can. Kai sits in here because he's a rantaholic, and it's great. But he also is instructing people every semester on how to play a game, and he's showing them the finer details of the game theory. He's actually kind of sponsored by his own college that he attends. That's something I've never done. Garrett's never done that. I'm pretty okay with this. We have a different group of people. We have a very diverse group of people at our table. And Chadzar just points out something. Cigar DM. The sooner you start making 5e related content for your channel, the faster you'll get to 1,000 subs. And
It's
just
the
to let
hot
you know,
thing.
it's fucking huge. I don't talk about 5th edition, but I don't talk about the USR either. I talk about the hobby, and a lot of people are like, why do you talk about the hobby? Because we all roll D20s, we all roll the damage, and we all like to see goblins get stacked up. That's what we do. I want to hear the paladin say, I want to smite this round. Okay, cool. I want to hear the bard say, I'm beginning the song. Oh, great. I want to hear the players say, look for the stack of dead bards. I want to hear shit like that. And that's the type of asshole DM that I am. And I'm pretty okay with labeling myself as that, even though I'm not a true asshole. but I just want to say that this is a group that I've curated, and I wanted to bring what their thoughts are into my channel and provide good content for you guys. I hope that I do a good job with that. I hope that I'm able to help boost Baron G-Rock's signal. He's doing very fine on his own. I've noticed he's almost at 400 subs. Congrats to him. Cigar DM, once you start doing 5e content, you're going to be fucking paid both ways at a game store and off YouTube.
Yeah.
And Kai, I get it. Yeah. Kai, I get it. I work a job that has me driving a shit sucker truck. Okay.
There's a mental image I'll never be able to erase. This one is like again.
But it's a good job, and I'll never leave the trade because I'm a gilded member. I'm a union plumber now.
Whatever
So-
keeps lights on.
Yeah, exactly. Jade,
For the next,
whatever. If you have anything that you want to bring to the table, think about it. Go ahead and bring it to us.
Okay.
Next week's discussion. I don't know if we're on. If we have any more topics that we can exhaust on long-term campaigns, because this was a good subject for that, and I think it actually kind of caps it pretty well. If you guys have something that you want to add to that. Organization.
I mean,
Kai,
that depends
excited
on.
about that? Kai, are you excited about this?
I like the idea of building my own shit.
How about you, Jade?
I mean, it depends on what direction you want to go. Do you want to get truly technical with it, or do you just want the cliff notes? Now, how deep do we go down that rabbit hole? Like, do you want spreadsheets of all the specific data and how much money they bring in, or do you just want how to set it up and how to run it?
At least 2 hours worth of content. Hey,
Okay.
hey Felix, glad to see you came back. Hey, babe.
we're agreeing that we should at least go like at least 3 knuckles deep.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we can definitely get into it.
Missed it.
On
I mean, if we
a
need to.
on a very very interesting note, we are not doing this on the 10th, which is cool. We deserve a break. Well, you guys deserve a break. I'll be doing something else. But when we get back, it will be the 17th of March. You fuckers out there in chat world and these fuckers in here, I better see at least a beer in your hand because it's good old St. Patty's Day and everybody's Irish. I will have the Boondock Saints in the fucking back and we will be doing it right.
Muted.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
maybe.
Yeah, you'll be playing it muted. Otherwise,
copyright
yeah.
strikes.
Yep.
Fuck ass.
Yep.
I mean, whatever.
Yep.
Fuckers.
Okay. Very nice, Garrett. Is that a Legion of Myth mask?
That's a Baron G-Rock mask.
Sweet. What was the other mask you had on? I like that. Although I don't, I liked what I heard somebody say earlier this week. Take that mask off. That's COVID theater.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. You have to wear that shit. All right, chat. You guys have been blowing up my chat, and you've been actually blowing up my phone too. So for the past 2.5 hours, I really got to say thank you guys, because without the chat, it'd be just us 5 people in here talking, sharing memes. And next week, I'm taking the week off. I've got my parents coming to town. I love you, but my parents come first, and family should always
Absolutely.
pretty much come first. Unless you're like somebody that's got a really complicated and deep backstory, and I don't want to hear it. No offense to you, but you need to probably have a therapist. I'm not that guy. We can drink later, though. So she's like, I'm drinking now. So anyway,
Yes, dear.
appreciate
Drink better.
Pumpkin time.
everybody. I'm going to need you guys. I'm going to need you guys to sign off for me as I click the end broadcast button. And chat, I will see you in 2 weeks. I really want to see you guys back here. I understand things happen, but I'll be putting the broadcast up very shortly. If you guys in the panel could give me your links, so if you have content, I'd like to make sure we get people subscribed to you, because this shit's gonna be fat.
Night.
See you in 2.